The champagne glass shattered against the marble floor, and 23-year-old Kaia Williams didn't flinch. She kept her eyes down, her maid uniform crisp, her hands steady as she swept the broken pieces into her dustpan. But her fingers moved deliberately, tapping twice against the wooden handle, pausing, then tapping 3 more times. A pattern. A signal. Across the room, Jae-won Park watched her from behind his glass of whiskey, his jaw tightening. He'd seen that sequence before. 12 years ago. In a warehouse in Busan where his father bled out on a concrete floor. "Everyone out," he said quietly. His men exchanged confused glances. The business meeting wasn't over. There were still contracts to sign, alliances to cement. Now. The room emptied in seconds. Expensive suits filed past Kaia like she was invisible. The door clicked shut. And then it was just the two of them. Kaia straightened slowly, still holding the dustpan, still not meeting his eyes. The silence stretched like a wire about to snap. Jae-won set his glass down. "Where did you learn that signal?" She didn't answer. He took a step closer. "I asked you a question." Finally, Kaia lifted her head. Her brown eyes locked onto his, and there was something in them that made his blood run cold. Not fear. Recognition. "You look exactly like him," she whispered. "Same eyes. Same hands. Same way you hold your glass when you're pretending not to be afraid." Jae-won's breath caught. "Who?" "The man who saved my life 8 years ago." Her voice cracked. "The man who died in my arms while I watched his son's car drive away." The dustpan clattered to the floor. And Jae-won Park, the most feared man in Chicago's underground, felt his entire world tilt. If you're already hooked and want to see where this goes, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and tell me in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is. I love reading your messages from all over the world. Now let's continue. "You're lying," Jae-won said, but his voice lacked its usual steel. His father had been killed by rival gang members. Shot in a warehouse. No witnesses survived. That's what he'd been told for 12 years. Kaia shook her head slowly. "I was 12 years old. Hiding in a shipping container because my mama owed money to the wrong people. Your father found me when the gunfire started. He pushed me into a ventilation shaft." She pressed her palm against her chest, right over her heart. He was already bleeding. Already dying. But he kept saying, "Stay quiet, little one. Stay quiet until the sun comes up." Jae-won's hand trembled. He curled it into a fist to make it stop. "The signal," he managed. "How do you know our family signal?" "He taught me." Kaia's eyes glistened. "He said if I ever needed help, if I ever found someone with the Park name, I should use it. He said his son would protect me." She let out a bitter laugh. "But I was 12, and I didn't understand what any of it meant. By the time I was old enough to piece it together, I'd already spent years in foster care, working 3 jobs, trying to survive. I didn't have time to chase ghosts." "Then why are you here?" Jae-won demanded, stepping closer. "Why now? Why my house? I didn't know this was your house." Her voice hardened. "The cleaning agency sent me. I've been working here for 2 months, scrubbing your toilets and washing your sheets. I had no idea who lived here until tonight when I saw your men, heard them call you by name, and realized," she broke off, her composure cracking. "Realized what?" "That I'd been sleeping in a 1-room apartment with rats while the son of the man who saved me lives in a $30 million mansion." The accusation in her voice was sharp enough to draw blood. "That I'd been fighting every single day to survive while I what?" Jae-won closed the distance between them, towering over her. "You think this life is easy? You think I asked for any of this?" Kaia didn't back down. She tilted her chin up, meeting his fury with her own. "I think you forgot. I think you left that warehouse and never looked back. I think you never wondered if anyone else was there that night. If anyone else survived. The words hit him like a physical blow. Because she was right. He'd spent 12 years building an empire, hunting his father's killers, becoming a man his father would have feared. But he'd never thought about witnesses. About survivors. About a 12-year-old girl hiding in the dark. I didn't know, he said, and his voice came out rough. I swear to you, I didn't know anyone else was there. Would it have mattered? The question hung between them. Before Jae-won could answer, his phone buzzed. He ignored it. It buzzed again. And again. Then the door burst open, and his second-in-command, Min-jun, stumbled in with blood streaming down his face. Boss, we have a problem. Jae-won spun around. What happened? The Castellanos. They hit the East Warehouse. Killed 6 of our men. Min-jun's eyes darted to Kaia, then back to Jae-won. And they left a message. They said they know about the girl. Kaia went pale. Jae-won's blood turned to ice. What girl? Her. Min-jun pointed at Kaia. They have photos. Security footage. They know she's been working here. And they're saying, he hesitated. Saying what? That she's not who she claims to be. That her mother was Elena Reyes, the woman who set up your father's assassination. The silence was deafening. Kaia's legs gave out. She caught herself on the edge of the table, her knuckles white. No. That's not. My mother's name was Angela Williams. She was a housekeeper. She died when I was 14. Angela Williams was her American name, Min-jun said coldly. Before she went into hiding. Jae-won turned to look at Kaia, and his expression had transformed. The softness was gone. The hesitation was gone. What remained was the face of the Korean mafia boss who had built his reputation on blood and betrayal. Please, Kaia whispered. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. Your mother got my father killed. Each word was a knife. And you came into my house. Used his signal. Told me a story about him saving you. It's the truth. Or it's a setup. Jae-won grabbed her arm, hauling her toward him. The Castellanos have been trying to take me down for years. What better way than to send in someone with a perfect story? Someone who knows things only family should know. Kaia tried to pull away, but his grip was iron. If I were working with them, why would they expose me? That doesn't make sense. Maybe you outlived your usefulness. Maybe this was always the plan. Make me trust you, then watch me burn. You've never trusted me. Tears spilled down her cheeks. You didn't even know I existed until 10 minutes ago. Exactly. His voice dropped to a dangerous whisper. And now I'm wondering if that was the point. If tonight was supposed to be the moment I let my guard down. If that signal was meant to make me emotional enough to miss the knife at my back. Kaia stopped struggling. She stood there in his grip, tears streaming, body trembling, but something in her expression shifted. The fear hardened into resolve. Then do it, she said quietly. Jae-won frowned. What? Whatever you're going to do. Kill me. Interrogate me. Lock me away. Her voice steadied. Because I'm done begging. I've spent my whole life begging people to believe me, to give me a chance, to see me as more than my circumstances. And I'm tired. She lifted her chin. Your father saw me. For 15 minutes, while he was dying, he saw me. He talked to me like I mattered. He gave me a signal and told me I'd be protected. Her laugh was hollow. Guess he was wrong. Jae-won's grip loosened. Boss, Min-jun said urgently, we need to move. If the Castellanos know about her, they might hit here next. But Jae-won wasn't listening. He was looking at Kaia's face, searching for deception, searching for the truth. My father, he said slowly, had a birthmark on his left hand. Between his thumb and finger. If you really watched him die, you would have seen it. Kaia's brow furrowed. Birthmark? Describe it. Her eyes unfocused, like she was reaching back through years of buried memory. It wasn't a birthmark. It was a scar. Shaped like a crescent moon. He said, her voice caught. He said he got it fighting for something he believed in. And that scars are just stories your body tells. Jae-won released her arm like she'd burned him. Min-jun looked between them. Boss? That story, Jae-won said quietly. Only 3 people knew it. My father. My mother. And me. The room fell silent. She's telling the truth, Jae-won continued. About being there. About him saving her. He ran a hand over his face. Which means either the Castellanos are lying about her mother, or my mother was living a double life, Kaia finished, her voice hollow. And everything I thought I knew about her was a lie. What do you think is really going on? Was Kaia's mother truly involved in the assassination, or is this all an elaborate trap by the Castellanos? Let me know your theories in the comments. 2 hours later, Kaia sat in a room she hadn't known existed. Behind a hidden panel in Jae-won's study, there was a surveillance center with screens covering every wall. She'd been given water, a blanket, and a chair. Beyond that, she was a prisoner. The door opened, and Jae-won walked in alone. He'd changed into all black, and there was a gun holstered at his side. My men found something, he said without preamble. Kaia's stomach twisted. What? He pulled out a tablet and set it in front of her. On the screen was a photograph of a woman. Late 20s, dark skin, sharp cheekbones, a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Kaia's hand flew to her mouth. That's her, she breathed. That's my mama. Elena Reyes, Jae-won confirmed. According to our records, she was a courier for the Castellano family in the late 90s. She moved money, documents, sometimes people. Then in 2007, she disappeared. Resurfaced as Angela Williams, a housekeeper in Detroit with a 7-year-old daughter. I don't understand. Kaia shook her head. She was kind. She was gentle. She used to sing to me before bed and make pancakes on Sunday mornings. She couldn't have been. People are complicated. Jae-won's voice was almost gentle. And desperate people do desperate things. But why would she help kill your father? She didn't even know him. She didn't have to know him. She just had to owe someone who wanted him dead. Kaia's mind raced. Her mother had always been secretive. Always looking over her shoulder. Always moving them from apartment to apartment with no explanation. Kaia had thought it was paranoia. Fear of her father, who'd left before Kaia was born. But what if it wasn't paranoia? What if it was guilt? There's more, Jae-won said. He swiped to another image. This one showed a document, handwritten, with her mother's signature at the bottom. What is this? A contract. Your mother agreed to provide information about my father's schedule in exchange for protection. Protection for you. Kaia's blood went cold. What? The Castellanos found out she was pregnant. They threatened to kill you unless she cooperated. Jae-won's jaw tightened. She gave them what they wanted. And when my father died, she ran. Changed her name, her life, her identity. Spent the rest of her years trying to outrun what she'd done. Tears spilled down Kaia's cheeks. She did it for me. She got my father killed for you. There was no accusation in his voice. Just exhaustion. And somehow, against all odds, he spent his final moments saving the daughter of the woman who betrayed him. The irony was crushing. He didn't know, Kaia said weakly. He couldn't have known who I was. No. He just saw a scared little girl who needed help. And he made a choice. Jae-won looked at her, really looked at her, for the first time. The same way your mother made a choice. The same way I have to make a choice now. Kaia's heart stopped. What choice? The Castellanos want you. They're offering to end our territory war in exchange for your delivery. His expression was unreadable. Do you know how many of my men have died in this war? How many families I've had to visit, carrying condolences and folded flags? So you're going to give me to them? I'm telling you the situation. He crouched down until they were eye level. Because you deserve to know what's at stake. And because I'm tired of making decisions for people without giving them a voice. What are you saying? I'm saying you have 3 options. He held up one finger. I hand you over. The war ends. You probably die. A second finger. I hide you. Smuggle you out of the country. You start over somewhere new, but you spend the rest of your life running. A third finger. You stay. You fight. You help me destroy the family that used your mother and has been trying to destroy mine for decades. Kaia stared at him. You trust me to fight alongside you? After everything? My father trusted you enough to save your life. Maybe I should trust his instincts. Something flickered in Jae-won's eyes. Besides, you know things. The Castellanos wouldn't want you this badly unless you had value. Your mother must have left something behind. Evidence. Leverage. Kaia's mind flashed to a memory. Her mother's hands, pressing a small key into her palm on her deathbed. Keep this safe, baby. When the time comes, you'll understand. She'd worn that key on a chain around her neck for 6 years. Never knowing what it opened. There might be something, Kaia said slowly. My mama gave me a key before she died. I never knew what it was for. Jae-won's eyes sharpened. Where is it? My apartment. Hidden under a floorboard. The Castellanos might already be there. Then we need to move fast. The word "we" hung in the air. Jae-won studied her face. You're choosing to fight. I'm choosing to stop running. Kaia stood up, and for the first time, she felt something other than fear. She felt power. My mother spent her whole life protecting me from her past. Maybe it's time I faced it. You understand what this means. You'll be in danger. Constant danger. I'm a black woman in America who grew up in poverty, worked 3 jobs since I was 15, and spent the last 2 months scrubbing the floors of a man whose father saved my life. She met his gaze without flinching. Danger isn't new to me. What's new is having someone willing to fight alongside me. Something shifted in Jae-won's expression. The cold calculation thawed, replaced by something that looked almost like respect. Then let's go get that key. They moved through the mansion in coordinated silence. Jae-won's men flanked them, weapons drawn. Outside, 3 black SUVs waited with engines running. Just as they reached the front door, Kaia grabbed Jae-won's arm. Wait. He turned. What is it? If we do this, if I help you destroy the Castellanos, what happens after? What do you mean? I mean, when the war is over. When your enemies are gone. She searched his face. What happens to me then? Do I go back to scrubbing floors? Do I disappear? Or am I just trading one cage for another? Jae-won was quiet for a long moment. Then he reached out and touched her chin, tilting her face toward the light. You're not a pawn, Kaia. You're not a weapon. You're not leverage. His voice dropped low. You're the first person in 12 years who's looked at me like I'm human. Not a boss. Not a monster. Not a means to an end. Human. Her breath caught. I don't know what happens after, he admitted. I've spent so long preparing for war that I never thought about peace. But whatever comes next, his thumb traced her jawline. You won't face it alone. That's not a transaction. It's a promise. Before she could respond, gunfire erupted outside. Jae-won shoved her behind him as his men returned fire. Glass shattered. Voices screamed. Chaos exploded in every direction. Go, go, go. He grabbed her hand and ran. They burst through a side entrance, bullets whizzing past their heads. One of the SUVs exploded, throwing flames into the night sky. Kaia's ears rang. Her heart hammered. But she kept moving, kept running, kept holding on to Jae-won's hand like it was the only thing anchoring her to reality. They made it to the last SUV. Jae-won threw her inside and dove in after her. The driver floored it before the door was even closed. Kaia looked back through the rear window. The mansion was burning. Jae-won's empire, everything he'd built, was going up in flames. But he wasn't looking back. He was looking at her. "This is just the beginning," he said. They wanted to send a message. To prove they could reach me anywhere. What are we going to do? His eyes darkened with a fury that made her shiver. We're going to show them they picked the wrong war. If you want to see what happens next, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss part 2. Hit the like button if you're invested in Kaia and Jae-won's story. And tell me, do you trust him? Does he really care about her, or is there something else going on? Let me know in the comments. 3 days later, Kaia stood in an underground bunker that made Jae-won's mansion look modest. She held the key in her hand. Her mother's key. The last piece of a puzzle that had shaped her entire life. In front of her was a safety deposit box they'd retrieved from a bank in Detroit. The box her mother had been paying for, in secret, for over 2 decades. "Whatever's in there," Jae-won said quietly, "changes everything." "I know. Are you ready?" Kaia looked at him. At this man who had been her enemy, then her captor, then her unexpected ally. At the way he looked at her now, like she mattered. Like her choices mattered. "No," she admitted. "But I'm doing it anyway." She inserted the key. The box clicked open. Inside were 3 items. A photograph of her mother holding a baby, Kaia, with a man standing beside them. A man with sharp eyes and a crescent moon scar on his hand. Jae-won's father. The second item was a birth certificate. Not Kaia's. Someone else's. A child born 23 years ago. Father, Park Sung-ho. Mother, Elena Reyes. Kaia's hands trembled. The third item was a letter. "My darling daughter, if you're reading this, then I'm gone, and the truth can finally be told. You have a brother. His name is Jae-won Park. He doesn't know you exist. His father and I fell in love in secret, and when I became pregnant with you, everything fell apart. The Castellanos discovered the affair. They used it against us. They forced me to choose, betray the man I loved or watch both my children die. I chose betrayal. I chose survival. I chose wrong. Your father, Sung-ho, never knew about you. I ran before I could tell him. I thought if he didn't know, you'd be safe. But the guilt destroyed me. When he died, part of me died too. You and Jae-won share the same blood. You are family. And now, my sweet girl, you have to decide what that means. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Mama." The letter fell from Kaia's fingers. She turned to look at Jae-won, at the brother she never knew she had. And he stared back at her with the same shock, the same disbelief, the same earth-shattering realization. They weren't just connected by tragedy. They were family. And everything, absolutely everything, had just changed.